let me advise that people with weak stomachs and heart conditions leave the room now. I'm Rosalie Kenny, and I'd like to welcome you to Christina Smitzler's and Rosalie Kenny's 70s project. Stay tuned for more 70s madness. Filmed on location before a live studio audience at the Kenny residence.
A normal 90s teenager sits in her average 90s home, reading her normal 90s magazines, dressed in her normal 90s clothes.
Alright, they get the point. I'm normal, I'm average, I'm 90s. Get on with it.
Okay, hold your normal 90s average horses. Now where was I? Oh yes. But then something terrible and altogether unexpected happens.
Hey, groovy shoes. Groovy shoes? Groovy shoes? I'm wearing my jeans. How do those smiley faces get up here? What happened to my music? Where's my music? What's this music? Alice Cooper, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Bob Dylan? Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta? Disco Inferno? This must be the 70s! Ah! Not the 70s! Someone save me from the 70s! Help me! Oh, groovy! Peace, everybody!
Hi, and welcome to 70s Trivia. Today our contestant will be our friend Jan, and here she comes.
Hi, Bob!
Hi, Jan. Now, all you have to do is to pick a category.
Okay, I think I'll take 4 liters for 100.
No problem. Okay. Now, who were the 2 leaders of Russia/the Soviet Union during the 70s?
Far out. Bob Dylan and John Lennon.
No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is Nikolai V. Pajorny and Leonid I. Brezhnev.
Bummer.
Please pick another category.
I'll take major legislations for 200, Bob.
No prob. All right. Now, what was the major legislation passed on October 15th, 1970?
The Peace, Love, and Happiness legislation?
No, I'm sorry. You don't get any points for that answer. The correct answer is the Organized Crime Control Act.
I'll take presidents for 300.
Okay. Good choice. Now, who was the president who held office in the USA from 1969 to 1974? Sorry, time's up. The correct answer is Richard M. Nixon.
Bummer. I'll take presidents for 400, Bob.
Okay. Who was the president of the USA from 1977 to 1981?
Far out, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Jan. The correct answer is James E. Carter. Next.
I'll take 4 liters for 200.
Who were the 2 leaders of France in the 70s?
Jean Paul somebody?
Good try, but not good enough. The right answer is Georges Pompidou, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing.
I'll take major legislations for 400, Bob.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Now, what was the major legislation passed on April 3rd, 1970?
The freedom to be groovy?
I'm sorry, but no. The right answer is the Water Quality Improvement Act. But you can redeem yourself if you tell us what this Water Quality Improvement Act did.
I don't know, Bob.
It combated pollution and oil spills.
In the water, Bob?
Yes, Jan, that is correct. But you still don't get any points because you didn't answer the full answer. Now, please, next category.
I'll take vice presidents for 400, Bob.
Okay. Who was Richard M. Nixon's vice president?
That guy from the Bee Gees.
No, I'm sorry, that is not correct. The answer is Spiro T. Agnew. Well, we're going to go to a commercial, but when we come back, Jan's going to get one last chance to get something right. Her chosen category is TV shows for 100. See you then, folks.
Mrs. Butterworth? Yes? Tell me, what's the secret of your syrup recipe?
Well, my syrup is made with real butter. It's very rich. And look how thick it is. See how long it takes Mrs. Butterworth to drip down this stack? My syrup's got to be thick to pour this slowly. Now watch how fast the leading syrup runs. Actually, Mrs. Butterworth is twice as thick as the other syrup.
Hey, I never thought of that.
I did it.
Butter.
What was that?
Butter.
Parquet margarine.
Butter.
No, parquet. It says right on your lid, parquet margarine.
Butter.
Parquet. Smooth. Delicious. Butter.
Parquet.
Oh, parquet margarine from Kraft. The flavor says butter.
Hi, folks, and welcome back. Now it's time for Jan's TV Trivia. Watch the clip, Jan, and tell us what show it is from. So, Jan?
Was it the Brady Bunch, Bob?
Yes, it was.
Yay! It's the Brady Bunch!
Finally, you've got something right. Well, Jan, you have a total of 100 points.
Yay! Groovy! Far out!
The lowest amount of points on this game show in history. But don't feel bad, Jan, because you get a consolation prize of...
I do?
Absolutely nothing! Kitchen. Today we will be telling you how to make a Vietnamese wall. All you really need is an onion, who will play the part of Richard Nixon, teriyaki sauce, who will play the part of Ho Chi Minh, cranberry sauce, who will play the part of Kennedy, Tomato Soup, who will play the part of Johnson. Creamy Deluxe, who will play the part of Diem. Chicken Broth, who will play the part of Kissinger. And Cheeseman, who will play the part of Supreme Court Justice. Quite good. Vietnam War
lasted the mid-1950s until 1975. Ho Chi Minh, the Vietnamese communist leader, wanted to make South Vietnam, led by Ngo Dinh Diem, communist. When the U.S. entered, it was because of the domino theory. This theory said that if Vietnam fell to communism, other countries would too. Furthermore, the U.S. didn't want countries to think they were for communism since they let Cuba be taken over by Castro in 1959. Diem asked for President Kennedy's help, and in response, Kennedy increased the number of U.S. advisors to more than 16,000. After Kennedy was shot, to oppose the rebels in Vietnam, the U.S. decided to escalate slowly by bombing selected military targets while avoiding injury to women and children. As the war went on, Johnson issued a draft. Concerned citizens began anti-war marches on Washington, D.C. in 1971.
Stop war! Please! Stop war! Please!
Began on Tet, the lunar holiday, January 3rd, 1968. The Tet Offensive was a major turning point in the war. Although the Communists lost 40,000 men, they had proved their ability to strike even in supposedly secure cities.
Oh, look! Look! It's a bomb! Oh, no! Hide! Run! No!
What does stand
With withdrawal, the Democratic nomination went to Vice President Humphrey, who supported the war. The Republicans nominated Richard Nixon. Nixon made vague promises to end the war. His foreign policy advisor was Henry Kissinger. No progress was made in the peace talks. North Vietnamese were unwilling to make concessions, and the South Vietnamese were basically opposed to negotiation. By the spring of 1970, public opinion was 2-1 against the war. When the public learned of the massacre of more than 300 civilians in the hamlet of My Lai by U.S. troops, it reinforced beliefs that the war was a brutal, dehumanizing, and pointless affair from which the United States should withdraw. Racial conflict grew as black soldiers, stimulated by the civil rights and black power movements, increasingly resented fighting a white man's war. Declining morale was not limited to Vietnam. The military capabilities of the Army worldwide declined, and the Navy and Air Force also suffered. Veterans of Vietnam later formed their own anti-war organization. Negotiations throughout 1971 made only limited progress. Nixon was re-elected by a huge majority in November 1972. He ordered massive bombing north of the 20th parallel, which had before been protected. For 12 days, beginning December 18th, B-52s rained bombs on Hanoi and Haiphong. Women and children were evacuated, and the cities defended with Russian-made surface-to-air missiles. Some 1,600 civilians killed, and Bach Mai Hospital destroyed. After the bombing, both sides were ready to resume negotiations. In the spring of 1973, Nixon's position was weakened by the involvement of his administration in the Watergate scandal, which was the break-in at the Democratic National Committee in Watergate in 1972. On July 24th, the Supreme Court ordered Nixon to surrender tapes that showed he halted an FBI probe of the Watergate burglary 6 days after it occurred. Surrendered the tapes to them on August 20th. Nixon resigned on August 9, 1974, and he was the first president to ever do so. A month later, President Ford issued an unconditional pardon, stalling any possible prosecution. In January 1975, Hanoi began a 2-year campaign it believed necessary to defeat the South. Duong Van Minh became president, only to surrender unconditionally to the North on April 30th. The domino theory was proved invalid as no further nations in Southeast Asia adopted communism. Inflation caused by the war harmed the U.S. economy for the next 8 years. By the end of the war, 2 to 3 million Indo-Chinese were killed, 58,000 Americans were dead. The war cost the United States over $150 billion. To Americans, the Vietnam War was generally agreed to have been a mistake.
Hi, I'm Rosalie. And I'm Christina. We hope you've enjoyed watching our 70s project.
Not like you had much of a choice.
We'd like to thank Allison, our special guest stars Allison and Johnny,
And Mrs. Smitzler for letting us destroy her during the making of How to Make a Vietnam War. That's
Bye.
it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, I'm Rosalie,
And I'm Christina.
and we'd like to thank you for watching our 70s project.
We hope you've enjoyed it and learned from it as well.
We'd like you to meet some of our friends. Smurf, Cow, and Rabbit. They've all been a big inspiration to us. Bye. That was just stupid. I don't think we should use that.
No, I don't know. The beginning. How do we turn this off?
The red button.
That's
The
it.
red button.
Oh, right.